tabletop knife review in the Nutnfancy project, TNP. In this video, I will attempt to show you the features and details, at least as I see them, of another epic folding knife series by Spyderco. But first, a fair warning. If you are a knife fan / addict, like myself by the way, and or money is tight, I know lots of things competing for your system's dollars, and lastly, if you're just powerless to resist these awesome blades I put in front of the TNP camera, then you might want to quit watching right now. There you have it. You have been warned. I cannot be responsible for your purchases. That's because you might be irresistibly drawn to the Sage series by Spyderco. First up, C123CF, featuring the Michael Walker liner lock. We'll talk about this knife in detail. The Sage2, excellent titanium handle featuring the Chris Reeves integral lock. I call it a frame lock. Talk about that one. And last but not least, the Sage2 C123GBL, featuring the Blackie Collins bolt action lock. Having studied these knives over the last few months, having carried them, seriously guys, they have the makings of Hall of Fame blades in the Nutnfancy project. Let me start off with the talking points and I will prove my case. First and foremost, philosophy of use. I'm going to say number one is collectible. Because what you're looking on the table at is a moment in time. These are going to be limited production Spyderco blades. And by the way, I love how Spyderco does that. I really do. So get them while you can, because they're not going to be out there forever. And I think that makes them very collectible. And let me define collectability. Like I said in other videos, it is enjoyment to the user, primarily. Not necessarily that they're going to go up in value. These may, they may not. I don't know. But does it give you enjoyment? And yeah, it's going to be a 3-for-1 knife review. I mean, you see 3 different models. Each one really should have its own video because there are differences that are significant. Just going to roll it into one. Don't know how long the video will go. First POU, collectability. I think it's an outstanding series to add to your Spyderco collection. If that's the kind of blades you like, I love Spyderco. Honestly, you guys know that. Second, philosophy of use. I would say EDC blade. An everyday carry utility knife. You know, is it too fancy, too expensive for you to throw in that role? I would say no, it's not. However, being limited production, you know, they're not always going to be around. It's going to be up to you whether you want to go thump on it. You know, put some wear and tear on it, which honestly, that's what a knife's job is supposed to be. That's up to you though. I think the sizing of the blade, and we'll talk about that right now, is pretty much ideal for most people in the EDC role. For me, it's a slightly, ever so slightly on the large size. What? Nutnfancy? You're crazy. I know. It's actually, and I have been EDCing, I think I've carried that one a lot, and I've carried this one a bit. No hard use, as you can tell, but I have been carrying them around, using them lightly. It is a great EDC knife. This one I'm holding in my hand, the Sage2 CF, 3.4 ounces. All of them have a 3-inch blade. Size reference, just so you know, let's break out a Delicate FFG in brown. This will kind of show you how they're sized. The Delicate FFG seriously can handle all of my EDC blade needs, you know. For most folks it can. In fact, most people, if they need a knife, hey, what should I buy? Buy a Delicate FFG and an Endura FFG. You're set. Everything else is gravy, because those will cover your needs. But I digress. See the sizing? Just slightly, ever so slightly larger, at least in width, I'm talking blade here, than the Delica 4 FFG. Okay, and weight on the Chris Reeves integral lock version is 3.6 ounces. The Blue G10, 3.8 ounces. Not the lightest weight EDC blades out there. We've talked about that lots here in TNP before. But I think in the EDC role, having carried these knives, ideal. How about emergency tactical? Well, you guys know how I feel about that. Usually I want a longer blade. This is only a 3-inch blade. There's some, you know, philosophies out there that like the shorter blades for emergency defensive use. And that's what, when I say a tactical blade, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you in ergonomics how the traction plan on the Sage is perfection. In most respects, there are some misses depending on the handle material, but I think that would allow it to function in that philosophy of use. Hope you never have to do it. Finally, I will say philosophy of use, gift. Oh man, can you imagine getting any one of these knives on the table as a gift from somebody? Home run. Wives, if you see this video, Christmas, birthdays coming up, your guy is a Spyderco fan. Forget Spyderco fan if he's a knife fan. Husbands, buy your wife one of these. Wow, that would be just smoking. I think the size is ideal. The weight is in the ballpark. No, not the lightest, but definitely light enough to be comfortable. There you go. Steel, blade shape. High-end steel on the Spyderco Sage series. In fact, what most people would consider top of the line. It's American-made S30V. Am I showing the right side? Oh, there it is. CPM S30V steel. It's shipped to Taiwan where the knives are put together. So American-made steel, overseas construction on the knife. I know, if you don't like overseas knives, then get ready to pay about 40% more. In my estimation, it's about 30 to 40% more in cost. Okay, back to the steel though. S30V, talked about it lots. It is not magical in its edge holding capabilities, in my estimation. In my use, I just talked about that with the Buck Paradigm, also S30V steel, great heat treat from Buck. It's just not. It's still an excellent steel. It's very homogeneous in its makeup because of the powdered metal technology. We've talked about that lots. It has great dimensional stability, toughness, rust resistance, a little bit harder to sharpen. As it comes out of the box, every one of these Sage knives, wicked sharp. Outstandingly sharp. I didn't wear any of them down to the point where I had to resharpen them, so I can't really speak to that. I think the relief edges as they come out of the box are pretty much perfect. If anything, if I did resharpen them, I'd probably make it maybe a little more gradual approach. CPM S30V, awesome steel choice. That, by the way, accounts for a lot of the cost. Remember, that's an expensive steel. Blade shape. Spyderco calls that a drop point. Kind of looks like a leaf blade to me, sorta. And look at the tip. You're going to just dig this. This is like a perfection tip. I think guys who want a strong tip, that is some strength, will like the Sage tip. And I kind of lean towards having a little bit more, I don't know, precise capabilities for in-field surgical tasks. Trust me, having used this knife that way, it works great. I'm talking about digging splinters and stuff like that. An outstanding tip, full flat ground. What's not to like about that? The finishing is pretty standard. I'm kind of really liking, the stonewash finish these days. But this one's fine, no issues at all. You can see the blade stamping there. Spyderco logo. That is an 8mm deployment hole. Just about perfect. You can use it with gloves, I know because I did it. Excellent. I'm going to jump ahead to ergonomics. Look at that. Oh, jimping. Top and bottom. Remember I said emergency defensive use? All of these knives have the same blade, by the way. 3-inch, drop point. I said drop point. I should have said spear point is what Spyderco calls it. It really locks in right there. Top and bottom, almost negating the importance of handle traction. That's how good that jimping is, and it's very purposeful. There's that word again. Very sharp. Just a really, really nice job on the jimping on that. The blades are excellent. The only thing I could perhaps level a criticism on, is so minor, is that the blade, when you get these really wide blades in tasks like food preparation, I almost prefer the narrower one because they cut better, they have more maneuverability, like when you're peeling something like a fruit, but it is minor, and we love our tenaciouses, our persistence knives, and they basically have the same type of wide blade. Just take that into consideration. About 1/8 of an inch thick in the stock. Love that perfect tip. By the way, that back spine is sharp cornered, so you could use it on fire steel if you wanted to, for all the Sages. There you go, steel and blade shape. Speed. 3 knives on the table. All of them are fast. All of them are balanced. And when I'm going down these, you know what I'm thinking? This is kind of a new term. Epic knife features. When a knife gets all of these things so right, they become epic in nature, and those combine to make the knife a Hall of Famer. These Sage series are epic. Let me start off with this one, the Chris Reeves titanium framed one. It flies out of the handle. Again, showing the you know, that you don't have to have an automatic blade to get it out fast. The balance on this is just absolutely perfect. Phosphor bronze bushings there in all of them. The balance, ideal. Man, they just come out fast. This one's the fastest. And by the way, listen to the sound of the Sage 2. It just has a beautiful sound. If you want to deploy it, you know, upside down like this, totally doable. I find blade retention in all three of these knives to be excellent. We kind of go back a ways, don't we, Spyderco and Nutnfancy? Huh, that scar right there is from a Tenacious whose blade retention pretty much sucked. Well, apparently they listened and they've improved it. The detent in this one is excellent. It does not shake out readily. Let's check out the Sage 1. Good. And I don't want it to be so tight that I can't, you know, do a shakeout, as I call it, like that. That's excellent. The Blackie Collins version. Good blade retention. How about centering? Perfection. Perfection. I mean, if it's a micromillimeter off, who cares? But perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Strength-wise, remember what I've said about these frame locks? You know, if you want to call it the RIL, the Reeve Integral Lock, that's fine. It has about a half engagement surface, by the way. Look at that. So there's wear and tear waiting to happen there. No steel insert right here. You are going to be wearing that titanium frame. A lot of guys think this is the bomb when it comes to strength. I have seen failures of frame locks, whether you're talking stainless steel or titanium ones. Don't oversell the strength on them. I think they're going to be more than adequate for any realistic POU you put the knife in, no doubt. But what my point in all this is, I wouldn't undersell the other ones on the table. I love the integral lock, and honestly, I love the absolute simplicity of this one. Pillar construction, I'm jumping ahead to handle, I'll talk about that. It's just elegant, it's simple. But going on to this one, Sage 1, it's got a liner lock. Does that make it a weaker knife design? Not so much, I don't think so. I think it's adequately strong. And by the way, all three knives lock up just totally solid. No side to side, no up and down. Perfection, that's all I can say. Here's the Blackie Collins version. No movement at all. Lockup and strength, superior. Check out the stop pins in this. All three are just massive stop pins. So overall, I think the knife is just so well designed, so well constructed. I don't see any corners being cut at all. I probably forgot some stuff there. That's lockup and strength. Handle material. Okay, I was waxing prophetic on this one, the titanium frame. I just love it. I am a sucker for a titanium frame, tactical or EDC knife. Again, this is primarily EDC. It's just gorgeous. In a lot of people's minds, this is a more affordable Sebenza. Actually, to me, it's a more affordable Bradley Alias 1. Another Hall of Famer. Beautiful frame lock in titanium made by Benchmade under the Bradley logo. So many things I love about this knife. It is expensive, more expensive than this one. As soon as you throw, I don't know, in most knives, there are some exceptions, kind of like Boker. You throw titanium as your handle material, S30V steel, you're going to up the price. That's just the way it goes, it seems. So this is still a more expensive blade, but man, is it clean. Pillar construction, simplicity, elegance. Can take it apart. Look at the recessed screws in the titanium material. Nothing sticks out. Rounded edges on the titanium slabs. Elegant simplicity. I've said that over and over again. I just love the frame lock. Perfect execution on that. Here we go to Sage 1, carbon fiber. I just did my 2011 product update. I talked about it, but I'm going to break it out here again. Do you remember when I did my native 4CF review? And I dinged them rather hard on the use of this particular carbon fiber. I'm talking Spyderco. It's more like an epoxy. I said in that review that it looks good, but it's very slick, and that's a bad thing. It's not ergonomic. Well, they corrected it. This is a new version. They call it like a twill carbon fiber. Okay, and it gives medium twill woven is what I should say. It gives a medium level of traction. It's not a high level. It's not like that really aggressive G10. Notice the screws are offset, are countersunked into the handle material. Pillar construction on this one too. Oh, and check this. Look at the what am I trying to say? Skeletonizing in those liners. I'm going to use for lighting duties, by the way, Phoenix L1D. Dudes, we haven't seen that forever in the project. So long I don't even know how to work the light anymore. Let's see if we can look inside there. These things are about as milled out as you can expect. Can you see that in there? Great milling job on the Sage 1. That's a handle. By the way, somewhat rounded slab. See that? Remember I talk about the squared off corner sometimes? Feels good. Feels good. Lastly, Sage 3. Am I getting that right? Yeah. Handle is just gorgeous. Is that just not the most beautiful color of blue ever? There's some other beautiful blues we've seen in the Spyderco lineup. Kind of like this one. Oh, the Mannix 2 by Eric Glesser. Man, I love this knife. That's a tactical blade. Same material though. Love it. It's at medium to high traction G10. Kind of squared corners though. I don't know if that's an outgrowth of the Blackie Collins bolt action lock. What it needs to ride in the spine, it might be. Just be advised. I think it's going to be adequately strong, by the way. I didn't really talk about the bolt action lock. That is a button connected to a steel bar that slides in and out of the pivot point. See right there? Bolt action lock. It's a very innovative and, my understanding, strong locking mechanism. And if I didn't say so already, that is one of the purposes from Spyderco of the Sage lineup. Actually, the entire purpose is to feature a different locking mechanism from a very well-known and respected designer. You know, Michael Walker, Chris Reeves, Blackie Collins. There you go. Moment in time. So they're featuring all that. I love the handle on this though. There's nothing the square corners I can totally live with. It's just gorgeous. Awesome. Let's see what's next. Ergonomics. I kind of talked about it already. Let's go back to the Sage 2 titanium. Not a ton of traction with this one. Does it matter? I don't know. Probably not, because you can just lock in so nicely. You got double choils on all of these blades. There you go. You got one forward that's jimped, one backwards, so the blade just solidly locks into your hand. You know, should you ever need to go to reverse grip, you could do that too with the Sage. It's just phenomenal, the amount of grip you're getting on the blade itself. So the handle, like I said earlier, it's almost secondary the traction. Some will say that the titanium scales actually do provide some traction. I will say it's low to medium traction on that. Talked about this one already. The twill, carbon fiber, medium level of traction. You still got the double choil. I would have ranked that not too shabby. And by the way, overall, the ergonomics on all these knives, excuse me, are excellent. Notice the curvature of the back spine fits a human hand well. I already talked about the other things. Ergonomics on this, also excellent. On that beautiful bolt action Sage. Good job. Clip design. Man, we're cruising through this. One of my favorite clips, and I'm just going to announce this right now, is the one you're looking at right now. I love it. These are heat-treated spring wire clips from Spyderco. Here's one reason I love it. Look how it's doubled over and it provides for very deep carry. Very important if you don't want to lose your knife. But it's too deep. I can't access it. Not true. You totally can. You know, just pull up on your pocket a little bit. You'll feel the knife, you know, kind of protruding out, and you can slide it up and access it that way. There is one thing missing back here. Do you see it? No lanyard hole. Okay, not one that you would readily use, I'm talking. I mean, you might be able to fix something to the clip. I probably wouldn't do that. But if that's important to you, you may not dig it so much. I love these clips. I found them to be very strong in pocket, excellent retention, very durable. No Wizard of Oz issues on them at all. This is my fave though. Look at it. This one's blackened on the Sage 1. I wish they were on all of them. Except this. I guess the bright pocket clip on the Sage 3 blends better, kind of thematically, like I've talked about lots and lots. Love the pocket clip. It's just so excellent. Can't say anything bad about it. One other thing on the pocket clip I just remembered. It is swappable from left to right sides. So that makes the knife pretty much ambidextrous. Even this one, the bolt action one, which you can actuate obviously from either side. And it carries in what I prefer, the tip up orientation. That's because it just presents the knife quicker for deployment, in my estimation. Some may differ. Love the tip up orientation, love that pocket clip, durability. How about the Blackie Collins bolt action lock? How durable is that? You know, I've really never hard used a knife that has this locking mechanism. However, I have heard from very reputable sources that it is excellent, that it has great wear characteristics, that you won't develop movement over time, but I don't have any personal data points on it. So sorry. I love how it actuates, so it's, you know, it's almost like an axis lock as far as the user's concerned. Again, accessible from both sides. This one, as I showed you, has a great engagement surface on it, so it can wear and tear nicely. I'm talking about the Sage2. I think durability on this will be excellent. One caveat: don't let your stupid friends actuate this knife. I did that one time with a titanium framed tactical folder I had, and the dude, when he released it, he pushed the locking bar clear out and overextended it, because this doesn't have a stop on the locking bar. You see that? The way I do it, and I know I'm real careful with my blades, I'll put my thumb here, push like that, and that way I don't overextend the locking bar, and it retains its tension. Liner lock is here. I think it'll be awesomely durable. There's really nothing about the blades, durability-wise, that I think won't last. From handles to locking mechanisms, the clip. I can't say anything bad about it. I'm telling you guys, Hall of Fame knives. You're looking at them. Value. Okay, here we go. I jumped online, and one of the best prices I could find on the Sage1 CF, about $104. Maybe more, maybe less. But remember, it's carbon fiber scales, S30V steel. Sage2 titanium, $154, more or less. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Remember, it's S30V steel, which is made in the US. Titanium slab handles. It's a Spyderco. All the fit and finish, speed, balance, elegance we've been talking about. Totally worth it. The blue G10 version, Blackie Collins, $116. Totally worth it. Look in the upper right and I'll tell you where I got them prices from. One of my recommended knife retailers. And if you can't find it there, go to my second recommended. Both of them are excellent knife suppliers in the Nutnfancy project. What else could you buy for your money that's equal to these blades? Let me see. What did I bring on the table? Well, mostly your Spyderco. How about a Cali 3.5? Excellent. Love this knife. Absolutely love it. I forget the price offhand. It's about $105 or something like that. Totally worth it. Has the same ergos we're talking here. It is a lockback. Then we got ourselves Delica G10. Back to the Delica Spyderco version. Love this knife. It's going to be expensive, about the same price, about the same weight. Love the full flat ground Delica knife blade. Let's see, how about a non-Spyderco alternative? Oh, check this. Imcusta Tactility. Running around $135, featuring VG10 Damascus steel blade. Yes, review coming. Gorgeous knife. I don't know. How do you define second kind of cool? To me, this has lots of second kind of cool to it. Practicality, ergonomics, speed, lockup. I'm not going to get into a review of this knife, but ergonomics, these knives win. Hands down. We're talking top and bottom jimping with a thumb ramp, curve for the human hand, deep carry pocket clip. So does this, by the way. But it is an alternative. It's gorgeous, very functional. Tactical folder, more of a collectible, really. I had some other ones. Oh yeah, I already showed you the Bradley Alias one. Kind of a larger knife, really. More expensive, around $200. But again, S30V steel, titanium slabs. I think value overall is smoking for the Sage series. Really. Cool factor. Off the charts, baby. Yep, like I said, a moment in time. Soon they shall be gone, the Sage series. Inevitably, also, I will be asked, Nutnfancy, what's your favorites? What? I got to rank order them? All right, here we go. Number one, right here. The simple elegance of the titanium framed RIL Sage. I just dig it. Dig it. It's my number one fave knife. And these two are going to tie for second place. I can't favor one over the other. I just can't. I am surprised how much I liked this one. I thought for sure the Blackie Collins in that gorgeous blue G10 would win out over this one. Nope. Neck and neck, baby. That's a Nutnfancy review on another Hall of Famer, the Spyderco Sage. Thanks for watching.